What's going on, Godzirra Nation? This is Arghgodzirra. We are back with another installment of Arghgodzirra'S footy tipping competition, and we are looking ahead to round 15 action. Thank you for joining me as always. The bye rounds are behind us. We are back to having a full set of games each and every weekend until the final series. Before we start, I want to let you guys know to keep an eye on the comment section of this video over the weekend, because what I'm going to do, because this Google document is taking forever, I'm going to give you guys an updated tally of exactly where everybody is sitting on the tipping ladder from first all the way to last place. I will pin that post so it will be the top comment on the video. Be sure to check it out. It won't be there for the start of the video. You're going to have to come back and check it out if you're keen to see where you stand. And as I said, there is still a lot of people well and truly in the hunt. But let's put that to the side. Let's not worry about that right now. It's time to get our tips in for round 15, which kicks off Thursday night, Marvel Stadium, Essendon playing host to GWS. To me, it is pretty clear cut here, ladies and gentlemen. GWS comes down to Melbourne and notches up a win Thursday night. I genuinely feel they are one of the very few teams this year that have shown that they are a genuine threat to the Premiership Cup this year. Everything has fallen into place. GWS are finally in a position where all of their guns are currently playing, apart from maybe Lachie Whitfield, but put that aside. He's due to come back in a couple of weeks. He'll be back for finals, don't you worry. But this final series, they're going to be coming in at full strength, and I really feel they can do a lot of damage. They're going to continue mounting their charge. They're going to continue to lock up that top 4 position that they've already got, and they're going to get the job done comfortably for me on Thursday night against Essendon to kick off round 15. Friday night football is at GMHBA ZQUYT Stadium. No, I'm just kidding. Down at Geelong, with Geelong taking on Adelaide. I did say in last week's video, even though I backed Geelong, that they come off the bye and they don't particularly play all that well, and Port Adelaide could cause an upset. Why I didn't back Port Adelaide off the back of that decision has got me stuffed, but they managed to get rolled. Adelaide, however, coming off of a very nice win in their last showing. First place 5th. Geelong are going to look to bounce back. Adelaide are going to try and bring some momentum down to Geelong with them. I just feel down at the Cattery, you have to back Geelong to not only bounce back, but they defend that fortress really well. So it's Geelong for me, Friday night action down at GMHBA Stadium. Saturday kicks off at the MCG with Hawthorn taking on the West Coast Eagles. Hawthorn coming off of a bit of a losing streak. Eagles only dropping the 1 game in their last 5. They're mounting a top 4 charge. They're going to look to solidify that, and I think they are going to get the job done on Saturday afternoon. I feel even with Jeremy McGovern out of the team, that he's not going to leave too much of a gap, because I feel West Coast have enough depth, and they've shown that this year, that they can cover the gaps when needed. So for me, personally, 50-50 game. I honestly think this is a 50-50 game. But I'm going to back the Eagles to come down and get the job done to kick off Saturday afternoon. Later on that afternoon at the SCG, we have Sydney taking on the Gold Coast Suns. Plain and simple, Sydney get this done by 40 points. They've been quite impressive the last couple of weeks, Sydney. They really have. And they're going to want to start notching up as much wins as they can if they want to have any chance of sneaking into the top 8. And don't discredit any team from this point moving forward to go and do it, because we saw a couple of years ago Richmond winning the 9 in a row to finish the year off and make the final series that year. Anything is possible. Keep your hopes high, Sydney fans, because Sydney haven't missed a final series in God knows how long, and they're mounting a good enough charge to be able to get the job done again this year. But quite comfortably for me, even without Lance Franklin in the team, they're going to get the job done against the Gold Coast at the SCG Saturday afternoon. We return to Melbourne, Marvel Stadium, Collingwood taking on North Melbourne. Big game, because I say this in the retrospect of the fact it's being played at Marvel. We saw last week at Marvel, the Bulldogs gave Collingwood a run for their money for a very long time. The other team in the competition that loves playing a decent game at Marvel Stadium is North Melbourne. So North Melbourne could do North Melbourne things and absolutely upset Collingwood here. We saw them do it earlier in the year against Adelaide, where everybody thought Adelaide would come down and absolutely monster them. I was one of those people who thought so. North Melbourne could absolutely wallop Collingwood this week and give them a reality check. But for me, I'm locking in Collingwood. I think they are too strong a side to be beaten at this point in time. Genuine premiership chance this year. And I think they've actually improved more so on the team that was in the grand final last year. So that's a big worry to people who are trying to write Collingwood off for the premiership, because I reckon they're a big chance. But definitely pencil them in for a win this Saturday afternoon against North Melbourne at Marvel. And to round out Saturday afternoon, we have Port Adelaide playing host to the Bulldogs in Adelaide. And I'm backing Port Adelaide to strike again. You cannot go against Port Adelaide this week on the back of the game they played against Geelong last week. They were so impressive from the get-go. And I think the Bulldogs are going to fall victim to a momentum race, because the momentum Port Adelaide have just built off of that win, I feel they can really charge into the top 8 now more than ever. I really thought they were one of the teams that were going to waver around this time of the year and drop out, but if they can run with the momentum they have built from knocking off the top of the table team, they are very dangerous. Keep an eye on them, but for me, Adelaide, Port Adelaide getting it done over the Bulldogs. Sunday action kicks off back at Marvel again. Marvel actually having a few games this weekend. St Kilda up against my boys, the Tigers. Now, I have backed against the Tigers once before this season. Might have actually backed against them twice this season, because as much as I love to bet with my heart, I also like to bet with my head. But I think my head and my heart is both telling me this week that Richmond is getting the job done against St Kilda, especially off of the back of what Brisbane did to St Kilda last week. And the good news, Tiger fans, to any of you watching this video right now, the likes of Trent Cotchin, Shane Edwards, Kane Lambert, David Asprey, they're all possibly going to be coming back this week. We have a lot of ins this week, ladies and gentlemen. All of our stars are going to start returning over the next couple of weeks. And this is where Richmond is going to start playing dominant football, because the wins we have been notching up until this point in time have been off at the back of the kids that we've had to throw onto the ground. Imagine the damage we can do when all of our stars start coming back. This is where Richmond start their finals charge. Watch them from here on out. I'm telling you right now, they will possibly be the most improved team from this point up until the end of the season. Mark my words. Richmond for me quite comfortably to kick off Sunday afternoon down at Marvel Stadium. We then fly up to the Gabba, where Brisbane are playing host to Melbourne. Both teams coming off of wins. Obviously, as I just said, Brisbane a huge win against St Kilda last week. Melbourne holding Fremantle at bay in a game that I honestly thought Fremantle was going to do a number on them. I personally right here am going to tip Brisbane to get the job done against Melbourne. I think playing at home off of a big win against St Kilda, that momentum's going to be rolling. They're going to be up and about, and even though Melbourne got a decent win, I feel the momentum is more so on Brisbane's side. However, there is somebody who's arguing with me, because it is now time for a segment we like to call the Touch of Death. For those of you unfamiliar with how this segment works, I know a few of you have, but we always play for the people that might be tuning in for the first time. The Grim Reaper has his scythe ready to go. He swings it at a particular team, only one team every round, that he thinks is going to fall flat and lose that particular weekend. So far, he hasn't been very good at his predictions. If we were going off of him choosing losing teams, he would be undefeated. But he is backing Melbourne to travel up to Brisbane and knock them off at home. The stats, however, ladies and gentlemen, do not lie, because out of the last 5 outings where these teams have faced each other, Melbourne has won 4 out of 5. The last time they lost to Brisbane was round 19, 2014 at Etihad Stadium, where they lost 74-51. Since then, Melbourne has defeated them quite comfortably at the MCG 3 times, and then last year at the Gabba in round 2 by 26 points. The last time Brisbane defeated Melbourne at the Gabba was round 5, 2013. It has been 6 years since Brisbane has managed to knock off Melbourne at home. And the Grim Reaper feels that number is going to continue on, because they are backing Melbourne up at the Gabba. Let me know in the comment section down below, ladies and gentlemen, if you think the Grim Reaper is on the money this week. However, 1 game left for the weekend. We head on over to Optus Stadium. Fremantle is hosting Carlton. Unfortunately, I don't see a way Carlton getting around this. I think Fremantle, especially with the brand of football they've been playing over the last couple of weeks, are going to get the job done quite comfortably against Carlton. It's actually probably a good thing Michael Walters got the all clear from the MRO, because that would have been a lot of star power out, and that would have given Carlton a bit of a sniff, I feel. But Sonny Walters still in the team. I think at home you can't back against Dockers here. So Dockers for me to round out round 15 action. Looking back at the teams I've selected this weekend, we have gone with GWS, Geelong, West Coast, Sydney, Collingwood, Port Adelaide, Richmond, Brisbane and Fremantle. Let me know in the comment section down below what your tips are, ladies and gentlemen. And as I said, be sure to keep an eye on the comment section over the weekend, because I will be putting an updated tally of where everybody sits respectively heading into round 15. So thank you for joining me as always, ladies and gentlemen. That wraps up another footy tipping video. I want to thank you all for getting behind this initiative. It's something I'm doing every season moving forward. Could potentially be something that we dabble into with other codes as well. I'm not 100% sure yet. But go ahead and leave a like on the video if you have been enjoying this, guys. It goes a long way to supporting myself and this channel, and I cannot thank you guys enough for all that support. If you're new to the channel, I've got plenty of gameplays to go check out. I urge you to do so if that is your thing. And if you enjoy what I'm throwing down, hit that subscribe button and pledge your allegiance to the Godzirra Nation. But that's it from me, guys. I'm out of here. Good luck to your teams this weekend. And as always, I will catch you guys next time.